sending you all the most updated spreadsheet because I've got.
We'll go ahead and call it this month's ARPA meeting. We have a couple of items of business here to take care of. The additional request, I guess it's the way it's been headlined here.
We have a spreadsheet of well over 900 names.
New names.
I'm sorry.
New names.
No, well, yes, since we pay people, yes.
Yeah.
So a couple of things you guys need to decide. We have one lady who had maternity leave during COVID. She worked the entire time. She worked in person. She left to have a baby and took her maternity leave. Legally, I don't know. I don't know what you want to do about something like that. Because we said you had to work in person all the days. One lady took care of her husband while he had COVID for a month. And he died, and she came back to work. So those are a couple of situations where they weren't in person the entire time, but now she was dealing with COVID. So those are situations you need to decide.
Well, I think law would be pregnant lady would qualify. I don't think we have a legal standard.
Is the cutoff date been in effect now?
Yes, thank God. October 11th.
So how many of these situations are actually in question?
I think there was one maternity leave and
Maternity.
one lady took care of her husband at home for a month or two and then came back. He had COVID and he died.
You had told me there was a group of
So
manufacturers.
that's the next thing. But I kind of wanted resolution on those. And the other thing is that some of these people are, I mean, there was one person who worked at Manifold. So I'm sorry, we don't consider that healthcare. The biggies are the pill packaging companies, Far America, the one Kathy Jones runs, Omnicare. They worked in person the entire time and they are healthcare. But they aren't in contact with patients. So I didn't know how you all wanted to deal with that. And if I take them out, the number goes down some. Because here's the thing, with over 900 names and several of them yeses, I'm worried about having to vote. And I don't know what amount you all are thinking, the same as before, something different. And I'm getting these questions, so it's just something you need to think of before. Those are the things you need to think about. We specifically said in the ad pharmacies, so there are several pharmacies that like down in the Peak Vision Center ended up having several, but like they were all in the clinic because their surgery center shut down for a time period during COVID, so that doesn't count.
I look back to when we first started this thing, and I think it was mentioned several times in open court or in open discussion that we considered the healthcare sector. It was said that we're talking about people that administered, held the hand of the sick and the dying. I can remember that being said. And now we're getting off to a lot of other places, which is okay. I think we've made some good things. I think we've done some good things with this money because the criteria and the base is opened up. And I don't have a problem. It's a good place to spend the money. But we have to draw lines. If you did not, when we're talking about if we open up a small business section, I think that would be anybody in packaging would be under that. But that's business. That's, I mean, in my opinion, that's just business.
Okay.
If we go to small business, I mean, you could say the same thing. I think that when you do that, you're going to be talking about, you're going to be talking about, what about the grocery stores and state?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, there's just tons.
That's why I wanted to put that out there.
We're face to face every day. So I would be a no against my recommendation is anybody in manufacturing. That'd be a whole different packaging. That would be a whole different issue.
I agree.
So we'll present that before that. Those packaging, at this time, so that somewhere they want to open up a small business section, it would be in that. So let's back up to the first two. One was a woman that took maternity leave. I would be in favor of that. What do you think? Yes. Okay. So the one that takes maternity leave, we can ask the court, or let the court decide. But what would be our recommendation? We pay that she qualifies.
You can't trend up your committee, but I think probably the committee needs to make a decision. We get a list together, this we compile. They want to ask questions about what we've done.
Sure.
Or
Absolutely.
Today.
So
That's the way I think we do that.
there was a state entity who awarded premium pay to some of the state employees. They did not qualify. So if you had any kind of premium pay, you were not included in this package. And I think I talked to you guys before. I don't know at this point. I got about 100 emails a day, and I was like,
You
"Oh my
still
god!"
got a bunch of them recycled. Make sure they qualify. Besides,
No, I have the list. I'll send it to you. Yes, no. This is my interpretation. I've talked to several of these are the ones that I've left messages for or talked to the healthcare entities, because I do want to have a conversation with them, and I want to go down my list. I'm going down my list with every one of them, and I'm saying, I need you to tell me when I give you a name, if this person worked in person, all of those dates
Right.
in Barron County, because the health department was sending me people who went to several different counties. And when I finally got her to understand how this went, she said, "Oh, I don't have anybody who qualifies." That's the district health department on the Barron County. So,
right. But the Barron County.
so I'm talking to them in person. I'm talking to them on the phone to make sure they understand.
Right,
And then I'm making note, I'm updating the spreadsheet accordingly.
But we could just.
And getting a hold of-
We do agree that the Barron County Health Department.
Yeah, they're on there.
And to be fair, I don't know who all got the TJ, this private, we can see it. But I would say they have people in their home health things that went out of the county as well. They probably qualified, is that?
No.
They did not?
They only gave it to people who work in Barron County because they have a hospital in Columbia now, and those people do not qualify. And I did have some emails from people who said, I worked in Glasgow until whatever date, and then I went to the hospital in Columbia. And I said, I'm sorry. We are rewarding the people who were in healthcare in Barron County. Every city and county got this money, and, you know.
I'm talking about people that work at TJ.
Yeah.
And left the county at some time or other. I'm sure there's some out there.
I don't
The
know.
treats of it. Well, we don't know either.
Yeah,
So,
So the health department, there's state employees, correct? You said some state employees got.
yes,
So they did not get very paid from the state, correct?
they did not. I don't think so. The Barron County Health Department, are they state? I have not
Yeah.
talked to their person yet. So their person may say, we've already been rewarded. I haven't gotten a hold of that person yet, so.
I talked to one of the individuals a couple of different times when he told me, it was my understanding that they had not received. But we need to verify.
Okay, and I don't know what Crown Health is. I haven't talked to Ariel Popplewell yet, but most of them on the letters they sent had a number there. And I can call them and say, are you a pill packaging company? And if they are, I'm like, sorry, they chose to give this money to people who were with COVID patients during the time period, so that'll be easy.
All right, so we got the one maternity leave, or what was the other, one stay home attended.
She took care of her husband who had COVID and he died, and then she went back to work.
She worked at,
That I don't remember.
she qualified every other way. Sure.
Right. She's probably husband here. This is her.
If she qualified.
Okay. She worked at Omnicare, so she worked at one of the pill packaging companies. So she won't qualify, but you won't have to make that decision. I'm so sorry.
And the pregnant lady worked at TJ.
I think so, yes. And a lot of people changed employment, like they've been so desperate for healthcare workers that you had someone who was at Graves Gilbert and they took a better job at TJ or wherever. And those people got left out of the first round. So they're getting into this.
So moving forward, for our next meeting, where we can actually draw the line, we're on, our homework is to, number one, check with the health department and make sure, our local health department, check with them, make sure they did not receive criminal pay from the state.
Now, I'm talking to every single employer and getting those answers. Every single employer on the list.
So you still gotta do that, really.
No, I've talked to several of them. I have a list here of the ones I've talked
Say
to,
something happened.
but how phone tag is and all that. But I will tell you that so between now and the next meeting, I will contact the pill packaging companies and tell them the decision there and take them off the list to keep it from being so daunting. And beyond that, I will make sure that I check in before the next meeting with the rest of the employers and that everyone who submitted their information, and some of them submitted pay stubs. They could have been at home. They could have been wherever. And so I thought it was important that I touch base with every single employer. It's been a very daunting project, but I'm getting there.
This committee has two more people today, I suppose.
Yeah.
And personally, I think we started this with the premium pay for the healthcare. We need to finish it. But as far as opening, I have another.
No, we're not. gonna
We don't need to do
We
that.
don't
We
need to
need
do
to
that.
the next.
And as soon as we get this project put to bed, I'm going to go back to the beginning with everybody who has received premium pay, make sure it was spent the way it was supposed to be spent, which is another, and maybe since this is starting to be less daunting, I can start on that. The YMCA sent me, some people have already sent me, these are my receipts, this is what I spent it on, and it's, it's been very easy.
Do you think that there's roughly, you first said 900, we eliminate the manufacturers, packaging companies?
Probably half of them. There are 955 names on here. About half of those are yeses. And I'd say probably half of those yeses are the pill packaging companies.
955.
Now, that is me off the top of my head. Those are not official numbers.
500, bro.
Oh, yeah.
What did the first group get award? 900.
929.37, something like that.
$464,000.
Okay, rogue admin. I had not done that. And I
We got
was thinking,
3.1 that is not been appropriated.
I haven't looked at that spreadsheet lately. It was something like that. I think it was actually less than that when we added in the other payment for the county employees. And, you know, some things that have been promised that haven't been paid out yet. It was down to like close to 2 million.
2 million.
Pretty sure.
I think I have a spreadsheet here. I don't think anything's been appropriated since that.
A lot of these people, you know, they have a name, but they don't have some employees or anything.
That's because they emailed me and said, I'm asking about the premium pay. And I was like, here's what you need to do. And I never heard back from them. Every single person who sent me an email went on this spreadsheet so that I could keep my mind straight more than anything. Because I didn't want anyone to be left out.
There's what I got. That was the last one you sent. The 3.123.
That is first things passed by the court that have not been issued yet. So those are the ones that have been, the court said yes on. This is what is left. Little under $1 million.
Well, that's if we took these into consideration.
Okay, well,
Right, so this
you
is
might
what,
be okay then.
this is what's left, where I see it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Yeah,
3.1, I guess we need to verify that.
I haven't looked at that for a while. I've been focused on this and making sure the right people got paid and that I talked to all the employers because I really got thinking that's gonna be important.
So we need to talk to all the employers, we need to verify this number.
I'm close. I'm close.
All right,
You talked about the 60, if we got enough money, if we do this, put this together before the end of December.
I think so, if we're talking about 500 people, and if it's,
And now I'm getting several emails every day just saying, just check back in. Did I qualify? And I'm like, oh.
Would you just, will you be able to get us a list, how, of who all qualified by the end, the middle of November?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Before the next meeting.
I would like to participate as soon as.
Yeah, I would think.
I'm done.
Absolutely.
I'm done.
But before I take the pill packaging companies off here, I do want to give them a call, the ones that I've talked to, and just let them know what's happening and, yeah.
All right, so I guess our report to the court, our recommendation to the court is that we're still verifying. Eligible candidates
Plan to put it to bed for.
before the first year. And then we have the contract with Swagger Institute, which is Krista. I've talked about this with Tim, I've talked about this with Carl, and here's what I think we want to do. Here's what I think we're offering to do. If you would be okay with changing your yearly contract to a monthly contract, let's renew that until sometime in February and let the next administration, you know, well, we know for a fact we got 5 new magistrates coming.
Sure.
Let these guys decide whether they want to do it in-house
Absolutely.
or whether they want to employ you to do it. I know that.
Yeah. Yes.
You good with that? I know that, you know, when we started off, there was only, you know, there was a few things that we could do with the money and a whole bunch of things we couldn't do. Now it's reversed.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of things we can do with the money and only 5 or 6 things we can't do.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think that that's a decision I'm not, I really don't want to make it. Okay. You okay with that, Chris?
Yeah. So we renew it like the first of February, make a recommendation to renew our contract the first of February or 15th.
When you move it to, so we break down, when's your contract there? What's the due date?
Now, I'm not sure. It was October when you approved me.
So if we break down your hourly rate, or your yearly rate by the month, and,
Yeah,
and extend that to
it's pretty
February.
simple monthly
Yeah.
rate.
And then I'll give you a time to meet the new guys, find out if the committee
Absolutely.
more, or however it's gonna be,
Yeah.
how they wanna handle it. I'll leave them to oversee it and I have to stop it.
Okay. Sounds good. Anything else, Jennifer?
Can I have this?
Nothing else, meeting